So today's review is going to be on Mama Shrimp Creamy Tom Yum. Picked this up the other day. Actually, my wife found it at a retail outlet. They had maybe a dozen of these. 50 cents. Sounded like a decent price for a meal in a cup. And there's only one cooking instruction on it, and it is to add boiling water, close the top, and it should be ready in 3 minutes. So let's see how that works. Let's see if it's an actual fork or a spork. Yep, that's gonna come in handy. Let's see here, packet, noodles that you can barely see. There we go. And this is the ingredient that I am usually fearful of. It's not the soup base that makes you feel like you need to rub aloe on your bum the next day. Oh no. It is the spices and the chilies. I don't know, does aloe actually help? Maybe it's just probably should just go straight to milk. Milk's the only thing that's gonna help that burning sensation. Up to the line, close it. Free advertising. 1 minute. 1 minute later. Alright, so it's been 3 minutes. Let's bust this thing out. The handy fork. Looks like something you would use for like anchovies or something. It's weird. Why don't they, I mean, you think it would be easier or cheaper. Well, I mean, it does bend. You can't really bend chopsticks, which is where I was going with this. So I guess this is the only option. Alright. Let's look inside and see. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. The noodles have expanded, or at least they're floating on top. Now I do give them credit because there's an actual broth with this. I'm seeing little chunks of shrimp, and the noodles are really thin. It's almost like a angel hair pasta. So, is it really ready? I mean, it's been like 4 minutes now. Is it too hot to eat? Let's find out. This fork is not. Noodles are definitely an odd texture. I mean, they're not the usual ramen size. These are really small. They're far from udon, and udon noodles can get really big. I don't know. Like I said, it's almost like if you gave angel hair pasta a perm. That's what you would get. It's spicy. The shrimp flavor is really coming out. It's creamy at the same time, which is a nice balance. onion. Getting a lot of onion. What I really like is that the heat adds to it, but it's not overpowering. I wish somebody would give Baldock that tip, because if you're familiar with Baldock, they go to the extreme with the heat. It's not enjoyable, and you might want to call to get a colonoscopy appointment before you eat Baldock. This is pretty good. And it even has these chunks of shrimp in there. So, yeah, I think that broth is going to be pretty good when I get to it. I'll let you know. Alright, so mostly what we have left is the broth. And it's got that nice red oil fat on the top. Bunch of onion. More shrimp than I would expect from something like this. The flavoring is really good. It is really salty, which is to be expected from any instant noodle for the most part. But then it has like this thick, almost tonkatsu appearance to the broth itself, which I really like. And considering there was a ton of noodles in here, noodles were not just floating on top, they actually filled the cup. So a lot of expansion there. It's definitely a good meal. Now, one thing I did notice with this is that they used a foil top. So that was something different I hadn't seen before. This is a plastic cup as opposed to like the styrofoam that you might see with other Nissin products. And it had that plastic wrapping on it, which I think was to protect the foil lid. So kudos to them on a lot of this, because this was really well done. And even though it has the 3 chilies, you know, I would almost say compared to some others, like this is really like a 1 or 2 chili. It's not that hot. Not a lot of pepper, like black pepper flavor. I mean, it does have chilies on it. I'm guessing it's more of like a red chili. So let's see if it's slurpable. Oh yeah. It's really nice and smooth. I mean, it's definitely salty. But the flavor, now I'm getting some lime. Definitely getting some lime flavor on top of that. So, yeah. I can see why this brand is one of the top sellers worldwide. Although in the States, you don't see it that often. So I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised to find this at a retail shop for 50 cents. You go to the local supermarket around here, and you're going to find a lot of Maruchan, Nissin, Top Ramen. Not a lot of this stuff, and if you do, it's like the ethnic food section where they have like these weird, like, here's this random one, there's that random one. Stuff like this you will find in the ethnic food section, where you're thinking to yourself, okay, for one, ramen is not an American food. 2, why wouldn't you put this with the ramen? Like, why does stovetop instant ramen have its own section compared to ethnic food, Asian food section? I'm just asking questions, because when I go into the store, like when I went to Walmart and all I could find was Top Ramen sitting on the shelf, and I'm like, where's all this other stuff that's on their website and people are talking about online? and I have to turn around and go to the other side of the same aisle to find the exact same food with different labeling. I was not a happy man. Okay. Now that most of the broth is gone now. Definitely getting a lot more of the lime flavoring. Shrimp's coming out, onion. It's actually a really good broth. So not worth dumping down the sink. And I only wish that more of the flavor would have been in the noodles when I was eating that. So if there was a way or like a different way of cooking it to have that happen, it'd be pretty darn good. So my thoughts, if you see this, I'd pick it up. This is pretty good. A lot of people like to poo-poo on the shrimp ramen, but no, this is like I would almost expect something like this to be at an actual restaurant, depending on where you go. Maybe not for like instant ramen, or maybe not an actual ramen shop. Maybe if you're at like a Thai restaurant or something, they would have a dish like this, and I would seriously consider getting it. Okay, that was good. I would suggest it. Check out the website, theramenronin.com. And it's through WordPress, so you might want to skip the www at the beginning and just go to the Ramen Ronin, where you will find reviews on stuff like this. News articles on ramen. Yes, there are news. There's articles out there about ramen that you can read. It's pretty interesting. I keep finding them. I keep sharing them. So check that out. It's a great source on ramen. In the meantime, keep on typing.